is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating that life that we've always wanted. And here in this space, we're here to help you have the success in your life in terms of your health, just like you're having in the other areas of your life. So you can show up for those important things that are in your life, those family, the friends, the connections, and you can be doing that consistently, not occasionally. Hey, welcome. So we're in another week of our fast, and welcome back as we jump into this new season. Just so excited that I'm able to spend some time with you wherever you're joining us from, whatever city, whatever town, whatever village, and of course, whatever country you're in right now. I welcome you to this space, and a special shout out to our accelerator members. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Lots of great things are happening. Of course, you know we're in our fast. We're starting our fast today, so we'll talk about that in a minute. If you have not already done so, you want to make sure that you are getting plugged in to our current season. On our channel, the this week's videos, that's there because it allows you to jump in and see the things that are happening this week. Our new schedule has started, and so on Monday, our flagship show, Dwain Woode MD Live, is still there at 7 o'clock. But the week before, what I do is I put out a video that talks about and goes through the concepts and gives you a little bit of background on the subject that we're going to be talking about and the things that we're going to be doing in Dwayne Woode MD Live. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to those videos that are coming out, and then show up on Monday so that we can see how this fits in and how this allows you to do what you need to do on a regular basis. Because the education is great, but we want to make sure that you're able to diagnose it in your personal life. You see yourself in there, and you now, once you get an understanding, you can figure out what to do going forward in terms of your health. Okay, so once again, make sure you join us, Dwayne Woode MD Live, on Mondays, but pay attention to that video that comes out the week before. And of course, here we are in another fast. And in this fast, what are we doing? We are getting our metabolism set to acknowledge and to access all of those benefits that come from better health. Fasting, right now, we are doing fasting as a tool to help us in that process. So that's our goal. All the things that we're doing are tools that we're using to help us in that process. So right now, let me go ahead. I've got what I'm going to eat. I'm going to show that to you here in just a minute. We'll go ahead and get started, and we'll talk more about what's going on the channel. So let me go ahead and pop that up now. And as you know, I normally fast or start my fast at the end of our team meeting, which actually just ended a little while ago. And so this is what, let's see, let's do that one. Let's do this one. This is what I have, and this is from one of our local restaurants. And you'll see there, this is a chicken salad. And we've got the chicken that's here. We've got some beans, some corn. We've got some cheese. Of course, on this side, we've got the croutons, which we'll take out here in just a little while. And then down below there, we've got lettuce, some tomatoes, and I see a lot of beans down there. And then, of course, I have some dressing, right? So I got some ranch dressing that we'll put on there in just a little while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and let's see if we can do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take this, and we're going to, let's see, here we go. So I'm going to take the croutons out. So let's go ahead and grab that. All right, so we'll get some of those croutons out. And so let me say this to you as you're watching this. There's nothing wrong with croutons, right? So I'm not taking the croutons out because croutons are bad. I'm taking the croutons out because I know that for me, the croutons will spike my blood sugar a lot more than I want. And when I get spiking in my blood sugar, that of course requires that insulin comes out, and that derails some of my fasting. So I'm not doing this because I don't like croutons. In fact, I love croutons. but I'm doing it because it is better for me. And so I've gotten those croutons out. It's better for me as I get into my fast. And so the croutons are gone, but I'm going to add some of this dressing. Open one of those containers, and let's go ahead and we're going to just drizzle that over there. All right, and so this is ranch. Now, you know what? I just remembered I have some of my, and there's a dressing that I have, and you guys have heard me say there's a combination of different dressings that I use. I have some in the refrigerator, but I'm not going to take time to get to those right now. Okay, so here is the salad, and let's kind of walk through that. Recently, we had the new guidelines come out for the dietary guidelines, and if you've not seen that yet, I did a short on that where I kind of just basically talked about some of the positive things in the guidelines. Now, one of the things I want to say is that guidelines are simply guidelines, and there are times when guidelines come out and we may not agree with everything that's in the guidelines, but we want to make sure that we are paying attention to the positive things that are there. And so if you've not seen that short yet, go ahead and watch that. I just basically kind of outlined the four different areas that they talk about in that. So let's walk through this together. So when we're talking about meals, any meal that you're having, as I get through the fast also, we're talking about what are we doing in terms of the food that we're eating, the very last meal. And let me go ahead and let me talk about that for a minute. Let's see. I'm going to come back here and we'll come back to this in just a second. All right, there we go. So when we're talking about the fast, why are we fasting? We're fasting because fasting is an amazing way to get our system righted. It's an amazing way to get our body set for the metabolic health that we're looking for. Fasting is not it is not the only way to reset health. It is an amazing way. It's an efficient way. It's a comprehensive way. But there are other ways that you can go about doing some of the same things. So it's not that fasting is magic, but fasting accesses and helps in the physiology in ways that other things could not by themselves do. So when we're fasting, we're looking at righting our metabolism. Metabolic dysfunction is at the heart of a lot of our chronic illnesses. And fasting allows us to reset our system and get it ready to do the things that we needed to do. When we fast, we give our bodies a chance to rest. We improve our insulin sensitivity. We improve our access to stored fat. So beta oxidation, right? So fat mobilization, all those things are going on when we're fasting. So that's the reason that we're using fasting as a tool. And so make sure that you are paying attention to that. In fact, we have, if you go to dwainwoodemd.com/fasting, dwainwoodemd.com/fasting, you can sign up for our get started fasting guide. Okay, fasting started guide, and that would be an amazing process for you to go through. Just to give you an idea of how that works. And then, of course, here on the channel, we have our pop-ups where we start fasting, and so excited that you are here. So if you're fasting with us this week, go ahead and put me. If you're fasting this week, whether you started your fast before, you're currently fasting, or you are planning to fast this week, go ahead and put me in the comments so that we can give you a quick shout out. And then let's see, I see Cornelia out there, so let me say hi to her real quick. Hey, Cornelius, he says, hello, everyone. Hey, thank you for coming through, and thank you for hanging out with us. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go back to this view where we can see the food, and I'm going to begin just jumping in and getting me some bites. Here we go. Okay, so let's walk through the components of our meal. So whole foods first. And notice it says whole foods first. It doesn't say whole foods only. It doesn't say whole foods always. It says whole foods first. That means that when you're looking at your plate, or not even the plate, before you get to the plate. If you're looking at the stuff that's on the table, you want to prioritize getting the stuff that's whole foods first onto your plate. So whole foods first. Number two, we're looking at no added sugar. And so here for whole foods, let's walk through some of this. So the salad dressing, not whole foods. The cheese, not whole foods. Um, most of the other things that are in here are whole foods because there's vegetable, there's chicken, um, beans. Right, so those are whole foods. So whole foods first. No added sugar. And the no added sugar simply is allowing us to not worry about spiking in the blood sugars. Okay? Minimize processed foods, which goes along with the whole foods. When we process foods, we sometimes will do things to them that inhibit the benefit that we're getting from the food itself. Whether it's the eating, or the chopping, or the dicing, or the whatever we're doing to it can cause problems. Okay? So whole foods, no added sugar, minimize the processing, lean protein and healthy fats. And you see I've got some chicken there. So lean protein. Other forms of lean protein, of course, would be fish. There's some beans in here. It's right there, see some black eyed peas. Healthy fats. Not a lot of fat in here. I do have the cheese. I have the salad dressing. Those would be the only things there. We want starchy and non-starchy vegetables, leaning more towards the more towards the non-starchy vegetables. And in this, there's not any any starchy vegetables. So most of this is non-starchy. And then we want to make sure that we have the appropriate portion sizes. Often, it's not that we're eating too much or not eating the wrong thing, but sometimes we're eating too much of the right thing. So making sure your portion sizes are good. This is good. Which brings us to the last point. Make sure that it's tasty and flavorful. Because you want something that you can do not just today or tomorrow, but something that is going to be a way of life. And if your food is not tasty and flavorful, you may do that for a while, but it's not going to be sustainable. Now, when I say that, I want to hasten to say that we're not necessarily looking for, oh, here's some piece of carrot. We're not necessarily looking always to look at, okay, what is the best tasting thing that I can get? Because sometimes the way we get it to taste that good is we process it. But we want food that's good, that is healthy. Okay? Now, why do I start most of my meals with a salad? Because salad gives me bulk. As I'm moving into the fast, it gives me bulk. It also gives me fiber, which blunts any carbs that I may have. And those help me get through the fast, or at least get into the fast, and through the fast successfully. And this is delicious, y'all. So flavorful, tasty and flavorful. Oh yeah. So once again, if you're fasting with us this week, go ahead and pop me in the comments. Just drop that in there. All right, delicious. So as we continue moving through this fasting space, I want you to make sure that you're setting up a schedule that's maintainable. Jumping in, getting started is great, but I want you to make sure that you're putting your fasting on a schedule, a regular schedule, so there's something that you can maintain going forward. And as you know, we recommend that most people can fast at least for a 24-hour period once a week. There are some people who should not fast. Make sure you're checking with your healthcare provider to make sure that you are doing this safely. And then also, as I mentioned, DwainWoodeMD.com/fasting. And you could download that starter guide with some tips from me on how to do this safely. All right. So there you see. Some of what's left. Well, I said that's it, but this chicken's so good. Delicious. Okay. All right, so let's see. We got some folks out there. Let's say hello. So we saw Cornelius. You see that? That looks good. It is delicious. We got Jennifer. Jennifer said, "Howdy all, howdy all." And Cornelius says, "Howdy, Jennifer." And Jennifer says, "Completed a 4-day fast last week. Doing a 3-day fast this week. We'll be doing a fast every week this month." Oh, awesome! Congratulations, Jennifer. Cornelia says, "Me." She's fasting with us, is what she's saying. Jennifer says, "Hey, Cornelia." Jennifer says, "Me." All right, so good. There you go. Cornelia says, "That's awesome, Jennifer. It is." And then just have someone just popping in. Hey, let me see. How do I pronounce that? OQQ. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Okay, awesome. Well, y'all, I want you to remember that our fasting is simply a tool, and our tool is being used to right our metabolism. Our show, Dwain Woode MD Live, comes on Mondays, so make sure you join us. And then make sure that you pay attention to the videos that come out the week before. In fact, go back and watch the videos that came out last week as we got into this week. And then our show on Monday was directly related to those videos that we had the week before. So as you see the videos later this week, should come out tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And then on Monday, on Monday, we'll talk about the content of that video and how do we apply that to our real life. Actually, now that I say that, might be traveling on Monday, so but we'll come join us. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me, and thank you for doing what you want to do or what you need to do for your health. Go live a healthy life. Remember, you don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a plan, a strategy you can trust, a plan you can follow, and the support and determination to keep showing up every single time. All right, everybody, have a great one.